Hey guys, so this is 60-60-67's guide to K3. So, first of all, I'm just going to describe what a K3 is, and I'm going to use that using this example question. So the keyword here is normatively. So let's just start off with what K1 is. So K1 is when you have all these letters A through Z, from A through Z all the way up here, and then you have the keyword like normatively. And then for K1, the keyword would be something like this, where you have the keyword down here, and then you list out all the other letters. But inside a K2, you would do the opposite, or you would put the keyword at the top, and then you would have that decode down to A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way to Z. So what a K3 is, it's actually like a mixture of these two. So K3 actually has keyword on both top and bottom. So normatively would show up top here and show down here. But obviously there's going to be a little shift, right? So for example, we could shift it like 2 over here, and then we would have normatively. So R would decode to N, we would write that down. M decodes to O, A decodes to R, T decodes to M, and so on. And then you would fill out this entire thing. So the tricky part comes from decoding or getting the keyword, or getting the keyword. So that is what we're going to do right now, and that's what we're going to learn. So for example, even though the keyword is normatively, like, you can barely see what the keyword is. So that's why you have to use some of the tricks inside K3. So for example, if you look at this pattern here, BCD, you actually see the same pattern up here. So if you have D is B, F is C, G is D, then because these two connect, you can just add more, you can shift it over up here. And then you can find out what B and C decodes to, which would be L and Y, and then shift up here, and so on. So let's try that right now. Now this is only for shift of 2 because I shifted it twice, but we don't know how much shift this gives. So we'll have to start off with a sequence that which we probably know is not going to be inside the keyword. So first off, I see BCD. Exactly, yeah. So I'm just going to start with that. So with this, we have C decodes to B. Oh, I'm going to move this a bit more. We have D decodes to C. And then we have F decodes to D. So we can see these two are shifted 1, so that means that B should go up here, B. Now what does B decodes to? In this question, it didn't actually tell us that B is Y, but just for the sake of this, I'm just going to say that B is Y, because I know B is Y, because the keyword is normatively. And then you shift up Y, so you get Y up here, and then what does Y decodes to? L, you shift it up here, L decodes to E decodes to V decodes to I decodes to T decodes to A decodes to M decodes to R decodes to O decodes to N decodes to, we don't know. But we can see what the keyword is normatively. And usually they'll tell you, this one doesn't tell you, but usually they'll tell you how long the keyword is, so you know when to stop, or whenever you hit the Z. Okay, so now that we know how to do K3, let's do a practice example. I'm going to be using the 2025 Mason Invitational Test. So I filled out the table already. So let's just start. Let's just try find a nice sequence of letters that we probably think that do not fit in the keyword. Now this one actually says length of 4 and 5, so there's probably gonna be, so it might be a bit harder. So first thing I see is MPQ over here, because LMNOPQ, NO may be inside the keyword, so that's the first thing that pops up to me. So I'm just gonna write that down. So JKLMPQ. Now the thing is, JKL, the next letter after L is going to be M. So if this is going to be not in the keyword, then it would continue off with MPQ, right? So it would be like that way. But I like going the other way, going down to like A, B, C. So I'm just gonna shift these down over here. So we have J, K, L. Now we find out what D equals to J, K, and L, which luckily, or you know, maybe the test is like really good. Thank you, Mason. J equals to B, or B equals to J, C equals to K, and F equals to L. And then we go back down again. B, C, F, so G equals to B, E equals to C, and F, hold on, A equals to F. And then we go back even more. H, G, I is E, N is A, H, I, N, O is I, N is going to be R, or R is going to be N, D is going to be H, and D, O, R. And then we have R, Z equals to R, Y, and then, yeah, we can see. Well, there's Y, Z over here, so the keyword is probably going to be inside here. Now, I can see, well, 4-letter, 5-letter door hinge. And then that would be your answer. That is how you do a K3. Now, there's a lot more complexity that can go on if the shift is like crazy, or if there's a lot of letters in a keyword, but this will just give you like kind of a head start or kind of a jump in how to solve K3. So thank you.